Good evening, sorry, everybody. Welcome to the Post-Mortem with LNobbins. Doesn't feel like a win. My anger doesn't make me feel like we've just won the game. I'm not a happy boy. But I'm going to talk about why in today's exciting installment of the Post-Mortem. Of course, we won the game. 3 points. Huzzah and hurrah. Huzzah. And that's all that matters, ultimately. But is it all that matters? We'll talk about all of those things and more. We'll talk about the game. We'll do, if I remember this time, we'll do the Fanalysis player ratings. We didn't do it last time because by the time I realised that we should do it, it was too late in the stream. So we'll do that also. So make sure to stick around for those. I'll be asking for chat input when we get to those, but the purpose of this is to try to just talk out what we just saw. Was there anything interesting from the game, from a tactical perspective? There will, as always, be a post-match analysis tomorrow. I guess I'll just have to wait for... It's hard when it's a bit tricky when it's a 3 p.m. kickoff. I've normally got to wait for City TV to post the full match out. So, but as soon as that comes out and I'm able to rewatch it, then I will work on that. I've got some ideas as to what I want to talk about. I actually don't think I'm going to rewatch the first half. I actually don't think there's any point in rewatching the first half because I didn't learn anything necessarily from the first half. I feel like the second half was far more telling as to our vulnerabilities this season. So I guess it'll be a slightly easier video for me to make because I'm only going to watch one half of the match. Oh no, I will rewatch all of it, but maybe I'll only focus on the second half because that's of course where all the issues lied, weren't they? Guys, make sure you're leaving a like on the video. It's free and it helps support the channel. How are we all doing tonight though? Who do we have today? Foden coming, my kid's godfather after that game. Hello, Isaac, how you doing, mate? Phil saved us. Hello, David. We won, but at what cost? Hello, Louise. INSTA Foden is amazing. He bailed us out today, didn't he? Of course, yeah, I do need to say that. Of course, I'm still happy that we got the 3 points. Like, I'm I'm not upset that we won. That would be weird, and I'm happy that we won, of course. But there's still like lots of anger thrown in there, and I feel like there shouldn't be that. I wanted today to be like the way the first half was going. We'll talk about that a little bit more. We'll talk about that a little bit more when we get to it. Pep did change the structure. There was a moment where Donnarumma went down with an injury because Diaz was telling him to go down, and then Pep got everyone round him and said, right, change this, and it didn't fucking help. So yeah, well done, lads. Really, really appreciate that fucking situation. Hello, Faisal. Don't worry, we'll get into that. Or will we? I don't know, because some people don't like it when I say what is the problem. It's a win, but I'm furious about the second half. Yeah, I have no fucking clue. Supposed to be a confidence-gaining win, but the way it finished doesn't really change anything, says Jace. I've not seen it, but apparently Foden was, like, fuming after the match. I've no idea how true that is. I just saw it on Twitter. I've not seen the post-match, the interviews or whatever. Foden's normally a very happy boy, and he was not. So that's very interesting, isn't it? Pep saved us. Foden saved us from a generational embarrassment. Let's throw a party, says Naveen. Defense is shaky. Game proves two things: we can't win the league, and we definitely need a right back. This guy, true citizen. Newcastle winning 4-0. That's cold. Just had a big storm. I'm sorry about that. Well, you didn't miss too much, so you didn't miss too much. Well, you did miss a lot, but you don't want to see it. You don't want to see it. Holland was fuming. Yeah, not surprised. Yeah, Foden after the match said there's a lot to improve. Yes, there is. Okay. So, and Thomas has made that hard work. And we've got Yazan, Red Camp, Mad Hatter, big up to you. EA, Thunderstorm, David, Adidas. Is that the Adidas? Adidasler. Too many passes, no progression while trying to build up. Progression was a problem. Absolutely. Okay. Let's start with the good things, and then we'll move on to the not so good things, shall we? Because I feel like there's not that many good things to talk about, and I'm sorry, I'm going to be quite negative today, even though we won. And you guys know me, I try to be as realistic as possible, but normally I do try to see the good in stuff, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that today. To be honest with you. So, going into the game, looking at the lineups first of all, it was mass overhaul from the Leverkusen game, which isn't too much of a surprise because the Leverkusen game was mass overhaul from the Newcastle game and the previous two therein. So, not too much of a surprise that City made mass changes. It was 9 changes, was it, I think? I think it was only Reinders and Nico who survived, and I'm always objective, Bad Hatter. I feel like I'm always objective anyway, because I always get accused of being happy clapper, but then I also get confused of being overly negative. So that suggests that I'm actually reasonable and in the middle. So I only say what I truly believe and think. 9 changes, I believe. So I got 8 out of the starting 11, which I think is a pretty decent going. I wasn't expecting Bernardo to start. I didn't think that we would have to be relying on Bernardo, but so that came to pass, and we did just revert back to the wide players, and we did just revert back to the wide players that. Well, actually, no, we didn't, did we? Because Shirky wasn't on, so scratch that. No, we reverted back to Doku, left side. The right side was different, and my heart did a little drop when I saw the lineup, because I was like, oh, it's going to be Foden doing false winger situation, isn't it, rather than just playing out in that midfield. So that was a little bit disappointing. But it didn't really matter, because he was basically just always in midfield whenever it was on ball, so it wasn't even like a proper false winger thing. He was just literally in the centre, so it wasn't too much of an issue for me. It was fine, obviously. Obviously, he scored within a minute, so it's not necessarily a problem. In fact, it isn't a problem. So that was fine. So those are the lineups. Leeds, on the other hand, Longstaff is injured, and he's been very good for them this season. They rotated their right winger, they rotated their left back. So I would argue that, and people have disagreed with me, and that's absolutely fine. I would argue it wasn't Leeds' strongest side. Personally, it looks like they rotated a significant amount, whether due to injury or whether due to just rotation, whatever. Certainly the left back, certainly midfield as well. Like that Bulgarian player whose name evades me, I'm so sorry. I don't think I tweeted about it. He hasn't started a game since August. So that's the Leeds side we're playing. Not one that was even full strength, I would argue. I would contend. So I was expecting a good win. A good win. That's the one, True Citizen. Thank you. Yeah, that name rings a bell. I was expecting a good win. And by good, I mean like I predicted 4-0. That's what I was rooting for. That's what I was hoping for. And LNobbins, if anyone's interested, she predicted 3-1, so she was a little bit closer than myself. But I don't think she was anticipating us having to wait until the 91st minute to win the game. Is that it, Jack? Thank you. So I predicted 4-0. And the first half was going, I mean, it was perfect for my prediction, because it's like, 2 goals in the first half, 2-0 in the first half, 2-0 in the second half, ends up being 4-0. We love to see it, we really do. So the first half was a perfect start, wasn't it? So how does City set up? It was essentially what we have been seeing for the past few games, where we have seen the width primarily come from Nunes and O'Reilly. Foden basically did today what Doku has been doing, except on the right side rather than Doku on the left. When it got really close to Leeds' box, Bernardo would then take over that mantle from his more central build-up position, and then Foden would go even more central. That's how the first goal is scored. Bernardo's picking up the position that Foden was in, slips in Nunes, who's holding the width. Foden has ghosted into the centre. So that's a lovely thing. So that was the general setup, and then you got Reinders left of centre. And again, in earlier build-up, you've got Bernardo helping out Foden less so than previously. Leeds didn't engage with us in the first half as much as I thought they were going to do. That did surprise me. Lots of people thought that Leeds were just going to set up in a low block. If you watched my tactical preview, and if you didn't, you're a fraud, then you would know that Leeds don't necessarily play like that. Of course, they're coming to the Etihad, so of course they might be a little bit more defensive. But I think we saw today that this is not Scott Parker's Burnley. You know what I mean? This is a team who does still want to try to come out and still wants to try to engage and wants to try to play football if they can. They do want to attack. They often have like a front six, for example. They have like a very understaffed rest defence for a relegation side, only leaving a 3-1 normally at the back. So this is a side who does want to actually engage and quote, play football. Because I know some people use that term, and indeed I'm one of those people. So that's happened. Yes, we were very good in the first half because we literally gave up nothing at all. So the first half was good. I was happy with the first half. I've seen some people say they were underwhelmed. I don't agree, because you're winning 2-0. You're in complete, utter control of the game, and it could have easily been 3-4-0. There was a fantastic block from a Foden effort. There was a fantastic block from a Reinders effort. Reinders got incredibly close from one of his shots, and I think that there was another, and we scored from a set piece technically, of course. There was another set piece where we went close as well, if memory serves. So there were a number of decent chances for City in that first half, but for some really fantastic goalkeeping. Do you know what I mean? So I was happy with the first half because we were in complete control. They had, I think, 2 shots, and neither were on target, and Donnarumma was nowhere near needing to be called into action. They had no threatening set pieces. They could get nowhere near our box in truly dangerous areas. There was like maybe one moment where they played it long, but then up to Dan James, but then Gavardio dealt with it. You're going to get that playing a high line. That's not necessarily a problem. So I can't remember Leeds doing anything in that first half, and I think a lot of that was because we controlled the game. There were times where Leeds were having to defend with a back six. Such was their concern with picking up Nunes and O'Reilly. So they technically had a back four because they play 4-5-1, but really it was more of a back six. So that means that if like Dan James is playing essentially as a right wing back, then that means he's not going to be too much of a counter-attacking burden because his starting position is so deep. So we were doing really good in that first half, and I'll repeat, people were saying it was perhaps a bit boring, perhaps not adventurous enough, or not, I don't know what term I'm after here. They were underwhelmed, essentially. They were underwhelmed. But I liked the first half. I thought it was a good first half. I've got no complaints about it. You're winning 2-0. You've limited them to nothing. We're playing good football. We could have scored even more than 2. They're trying to mark Haaland out of the game, and they're succeeding in doing so, but that's creating space for our other players, and our other players are taking benefit of that. So I'm a happy boy with that first half. And I tweeted as such. So I just want to repeat, because I know some people are saying that why was Shirky bench against a low block, but Leeds haven't played low block football this season. That's not how they've played this season, and we saw in the second half that's not how they played. Like when they were actually going with the goal, even like in the first half, especially. The only reason why they were so deep is because we were forcing them to be that deep. They don't want to defend with a back six at times, but you have to do it. So Leeds aren't a low block side. If you know anything about their manager, I don't know if you guys remember his stint at Norwich, they aren't a low block team for like a whole 90 minutes. So they legit played a low block in injury time. Yeah, exactly. So like towards the back end of the game, but that's not actually how they play. I just wanted to just outline that. So the first half was good. It was more than good. You're in control. Great stuff. And then I would say that today was almost like a carbon copy of the Brentford game, where, and there are a number of examples of this, and it's a lot of games all season, where the second half, City look like a completely different team, and they look ineffective, they look broken, and it just doesn't look like a Guardiola side, fundamentally. I think that's the conclusion that I've reached this season, that this is the least Guardiola side I've ever seen in his entire career. Last season, of course, was a bit of an outlier for a number of reasons, but I think there's far less excuses for what we're seeing this season. That's a concern for me. The reason why I'm drawing parallels with the Brentford game, and indeed, I think the Brighton game is another one. I'm sure there are lots of other examples. I just can't think of them off the top of my head right now. All a team has to do is commit some bodies forward to the press, and they cause us problems. This is why I believe there is a clear pattern of, against these sides you're expected to win. United is another great example, Spartacus, yes. First half, really good, or just good, or nice, whatever word you want to use, winning by 1 or 2. And then second half, stinky and shit, to lesser degrees of manure and excrement, yes? Different numbers on the Bristol stool charts, lads. And today, it was a 7. It was liquid shit today. If you don't know what the Bristol stool chart is, Google it. We were a 7 today, yeah? Bumsick, diarrhea-ass play from my team. That's what I saw in that second half. The other team comes on to us more because they are losing. And this sounds really basic, but if a team's losing, then they're going to have to attack at some point to get back into the game. So, inevitably, what happens is that the first half, you're winning, the other team are trying to defend their point, or they're trying to defend like a lead if they have one. So the first half, they're not too much of a challenge. This is the pattern. But then in the second half, of course, they have a halftime team talk. So it means that if the game isn't won at half time, then you are allowing the other team to just come into it, because all they have to do, I'll repeat, is to just push up a little bit, and they actually start to ask questions, and they actually start to commit more bodies to their high press, and they actually start to disrupt our build-up structure. And then all of a sudden, we struggle to even just sustain possession for any period of time, really, that's consistent and dangerous. One of the main reasons why the first half was so assured was because City were massively in control, because we had the ball in the area that we wanted it to be in. We wanted the ball to be in their half. We wanted it to be in the defensive third as well. But in order to get to those positions, i.e. being successful in like the second phase of play and the final phase of play, you also need to be good in the first phase of play. Otherwise, you are liable to just resorting to second balls, loose balls, and that's not a game that we are ever realistically going to win. And this is reflected in the data, and I'll explore this more in the analysis video, but if it's the approach I want to do. But as an example, it's going to be easier if I do it on my phone, isn't it? Just because I don't have to scroll down. Un momento, por favor. Don't worry, I'll get into their goals in a second. I'm just talking about general structure right now. Okay, so as an example, yes, I'm going to go through a number of stats here, so don't worry about it. In the first half, City's passing accuracy was 89%. In the second half, it was 86%. Okay, so that's decreased already. And we also just had like 100 less accurate passes generally, because we had less possession in that second half. We had 67% in the first half, 55% in the second. Okay, this is all going to make sense. If you watch my Brentford video, you already know this. In the first half, we had 190 passes in the opposition half. In the first half. In the second half, 111. The passing accuracy also declined in the opposition half. But the worst drop is the own half metric, which is what I'm sort of getting into here. In our own half in the first half, 90%. 90% passing accuracy, so very rarely giving the ball away. Second half was only 86%, so that's a decline of 4%, which matters, by the way. That does matter. And that's not even accounting for passes that are technically accurate, but end up doing dick all. This is the problem. This is why City are conceding more attacks. And by the way, obviously, I mean, we've not said it yet, but obviously, the first goal is a horrendous error by Nunes. I mean, first of all, it starts with Nunes not being able to build out from the back and he gives it away. But it's obviously a horrendous error by Nunes. Of course it is. And it is a horrendous error by Gvardiol to give up the penalty as well. Like, that's insane and stupid. Of course it is. The problem is that this is not an isolated incident. We can't just say, oh no, it's Bozo o'clock time, but the rest of the play was fine. No, I can't accept that. Because we see it every single game. Every single time a team comes onto us, we struggle to build out from the back. We struggle to sustain possession. What does that mean? It therefore means that the opponent is more readily able to attack us. And this isn't trying to justify bozo errors, because there's no justification for what Nunes did, nor is there a justification for what Gvardiol did. But it's just a case of probability that if you secede territory, and if you secede the ball, and you secede control, and you allow your opponent to have sustained attacks and have numerous attacks, it's just a case of probability adding up, where an error is going to happen, or whether that's forced or not. And of course, it could improve if we had Livramento at right back. And of course, it would help if Gvardiol wasn't an idiot in that challenge. But at the end of the day, this isn't just an isolated incident. And at the end of the day, this can't just be chalked off as, oh, well, they made the error and they'll do better next time. This is a systemic problem that City are experiencing this season. And it's in nearly every single game, whether for a whole half or whether just for a little bit of time. It even happened against Burnley. Burnley were able to score a goal because of this weakness that we have. Brentford in the second half, the reason why they were able to get into the game, the exact same reason. United, thankfully, the game was won by that point. If it weren't, that would have also have been a problem. There are too many instances where this is happening, unfortunately. And it's the fact that this is happening in nearly every single game. This is why I wasn't overly concerned against Newcastle when the finishing wasn't there. Because this season, the finishing has been there. The pattern has been that we are good at scoring goals. The pattern is there that we are good at converting those chances as well. I don't know if we're the leading scorers in the Premier League anymore, but we're certainly up there. I don't know if we are there anymore. Well, Arsenal haven't played yet. Neither have Chelsea. It's not going to be a goal fest for Chelsea, though, is it? It is likely that we will, after tonight, after this match week, still be the leading goal scorers. So that's why I wasn't concerned about the Newcastle game. That's why that wasn't the conclusion that I reached. What I was concerned about Newcastle, though, was that was another error. Another problem. We struggled to build out. We struggled to construct attacks from the back. We struggled to sustain control. Against Newcastle, against Brighton. Not Brighton. Oh, no, I guess happening against Brighton as well, in fairness. Probably I can't really remember that game anymore. So long ago. Against United and against Brentford, against all these sides. So Ash has just said why we only play good in the first half. So in sum, that is why. In sum, that is why. Sunderland have scored 10 less than us, hello? That is why we are struggling, in my opinion. I said it after the Brentford game. I'm pretty sure this is the reason why, unfortunately. I don't know what the solution is, to be honest with you, with the current squad we have. I thought that we maybe stumbled upon a solution with the Bournemouth and Liverpool games, but maybe not. I'm not certain. I'm not certain what the solution is, in all honesty. One thing that Pep tried to do was, you know what we mentioned earlier, when Donnarumma went down with an injury, which was quite funny. I think that happened at 2-1, did it? I'm pretty sure that happened at 2-1. I mean, the reason why he was doing it, the reason why that happened, it's a classic trick. To be fair, I can't remember the last time. I don't think I've ever seen City do that under Guardiola. I'm sure I'm wrong there. I can't remember a goalkeeper feigning an injury, or indeed any player feigning an injury, and then the whole team rushes over to the manager because it's clearly an instruction. Diaz is barking at Donnarumma, go down, because we need to do this. So I'm assuming that Pep told Diaz and Diaz told Donnarumma. I don't think I've ever seen us have to do that before. The fact that we had to do that, to me, is a concern. If anyone's interested in what he changed, I don't know if anyone is interested in what he changed. It can do anything, really. He basically changed from a 2-3 to like a 3-2, I'm going to say. So Foden went just out and out right wing thereafter, essentially. And Núñez was more of a right centre back rather than Núñez being like a right winger. So I guess the idea was try to not be as vulnerable from a counter attack. But that wasn't really the problem. Or maybe it was just like have another body in the build up in the deeper phases to have Núñez there. But I don't know what the fucking help was there. So there we go. Yeah, Clark says it before the goal. I think it was before the second goal. I think you're right. It was definitely after the first, but before the second. Yeah, Donnarumma's now on 4 yellow cards, so I think one more and then he's and then it's a thing. So that's the thing. I literally just said that we changed. I said it didn't matter. I don't know if you misheard me. But I did say that the wingers went to actual wingers. What's people listen. I don't know what else I want to say. Foden won us the game, so that's nice. I'm just annoyed. I'm just annoyed because it's something that's happening all the fucking time, and I'm just getting bored. I know I've been alluding to it, and I've been like really passive aggressive with my analysis. But I'm just getting sick and tired of trying to pretend that the problem doesn't exist, because it so fucking clearly does. And I'm sorry, but it is Donnarumma. And there I said it. And there I said it. It just is. We can't sustain control when we have a goalkeeper who treats the ball like a fucking bomb. I'm so bored. I've tried so hard. I've tried so hard to be a massive fan of the signing and lock in and be really happy about the signing, but I can't. I'm trying so hard to be positive. I'm trying to see all the nice. I even said it like at the start of the season. Oh, look at how amazing his ability to claim from corners is, and all that stuff. And that's fucking worsened as well. And I don't want to do that, because whenever I do that, people say that I've got an agenda and it's so boring. I can't be bothered with the grief. And that's why I keep being all dancing around it, like I'm going, oh, and we're struggling with the build-up because of X, Y, Z, and we're just, and I try to walk around the issue and I say, guys, we're just not good at central build-up. That's the problem, so we have to go wide. And I don't really say why we struggle at central build-up. I just say it is a problem, and then people can, you know, reach their own conclusions and try to read between the lines and whatnot. But I can't keep pretending that it's not the problem. It just is. It just is the problem. This is the worst City side under Guardiola in respect of phase one, and this is and unfortunately this is the reason why. Unfortunately, it doesn't help when you have Diaz on the pitch either. By the way, I'm not having to go at Diaz, but just generally he's not that sort of player. It also doesn't help when you have Nunes on the pitch either, and to be honest, it doesn't really help when you have Nico O'Reilly on the pitch in those deeper moments either. But we don't have those players. You know, we don't have Hakimi and Nuno Mendes. And we don't have 4 Gvardiols. No, Rodri also hurts as well, absolutely. And we don't have these imperious like ball winners to where if you have to go long, it doesn't matter because they'll just win the ball back anyway. Like, we don't have a midfield of fucking Rodri, Baleba, and Onana. We don't have that midfield, so we can't compensate anyway. And we're not, I was going to say we're getting away with it, but we're not getting away with it. This is why the title of this stream is, like, we won a battle, but we've lost a war. I don't want to say it. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. We can still win the title, but it's like games like this where it's not getting better. And it's not even like we're really early in the season now. We're nearly in December, and it's not getting better. And it's really upsetting me that it's not improving. And it's really upsetting me that all of the concerns I had going into the season are now on display for all to see. And I'll repeat that this isn't just a knee-jerk reaction to this game. This has been building up for like months now, in my brain anyway. And it's nearly every single game, and I'm trying to not see it as an issue. But I can't lie by omission anymore. And I'm so sorry if you think that I've got an agenda, and I'm so sorry if he's your favourite player, and I'm not, and it's not, and that's the thing as well. That's the thing to say is also, by the way, I just need to make that clear. This is not his fault. That's the thing to say. If I buy a lawnmower to clean my carpet, then I'm an idiot. And I can't blame the lawnmower for not being for putting a load of fucking grass and shit stains on my carpet. Yeah? And loads of like mashed up hedgehogs and slugs. Whatever. There aren't any hedgehogs in my garden. Or slugs indeed. I can't have a go at that, can I? It's not the player's fault. It's not the player's fault, is it? But it is impossible to ignore it. And for anyone being a, like, baby boy about it, and, like, not wanting to engage with the point, and instead saying, oh, you've got an agenda, just keep living in the dark. Go for it. I don't care. If you want to live in ignorance, go for it. That's fine. But the purpose of this channel is to try to be objective and try to talk about the actual issues with a club. This is a concern. It's a concern. I don't have random agendas. I didn't like Alvarez in like the 23-24 season. I didn't like how he was being used. It wasn't Alvarez's fault. I made sure to say that. But every time I saw him in a double pivot, I winced. And I was like, oh my God, here we go again. And it was the exact same issues. This has nothing to do with like hating a player or having an agenda against a player. It's more to do with like that their function isn't useful for the team. And Alvarez in a double pivot wasn't useful for the team. And Donnarumma in build-up isn't useful for the team. And this is why we keep seeing it. And now we're even like seeing the fucking... I need to talk. I need to move on. I didn't want to spend so much time on this. I didn't mean for this to boil over. And now we're even seeing like the bad commanding of the area, which has declined massively over the past few months, and is going back to what I saw at PSG. Like today, like from the corner, like I think it was like a couple minutes before the first goal, so I can't recall exactly. I think it was like the 47th minute or something like that. He just like misses the punch out. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. Anyway. And I'm so... No, I don't... And this is the thing. I don't want Trafford to start. I didn't want Trafford at the club. Oh my God, it's all coming out now. I didn't want Trafford at the club. I didn't want Trafford at the club. I didn't want Donnarumma at the club. I didn't want Edison to stay. It didn't have to be... It doesn't... This is what I mean, like, when people don't want to... Like, I'm not saying the person that said this, by the way, at all, but some people don't want to engage with the argument, and they say, oh, what, so you want Trafford to start? I don't want Trafford at the club. Oh, what, so you wanted to keep Edison? I didn't want to keep Edison either. What I wanted was a shot-stopping upgrade on Edison, who also like wanted to be at the club, because Edison didn't, and was competent on ball, and there were a number of options there. It didn't have to be Chevalier, and this is the thing as well. When people say, "Oh, but you want a Chevalier," he was in an option. It didn't have to be Chevalier. It could have been Garcia. It could have been Costa. It doesn't. The name didn't matter. The concept is what mattered. That's an easy got ya, or are trying to catch someone out thing. That's not the point of the argument. That tells me that you're not able to engage with it properly. It's not relevant as to if I say this name in particular, because there were a myriad of options. There were a number of options that I said would have been good. So when people say, oh, but Edison wanted... I don't want Edison here. It's not Edison or bust. Sorry, I've missed a super chat. Thank you so much, Masked Citizen. Here's a random movie quote for you. David, if you're going to say that one more time, then the moderator is going to time you out, because I'm not engaging with children who want to belittle my integrity after I've spent countless hours analysing a player just for a child to surmise it and say that I have an agenda. Try it one more time and you're gone. I'm not dealing with this shit today. I'll tell you that right now. Random movie quote for Masked Citizen. Zoinks. How humiliating. Chased into a hole by a third of a BLT. And that's from Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. 1998. As your random movie quote, mate. The problem is recruitment. Reinders, Marmish, O'Reilly. We need to buy real quality like Shirky more often. Shirky is a lovely player, isn't he? I thought he was good when he came on. Right. I'm going to now move on from the build-up problem. If you want to ask my thoughts, why are we so bad in the second half compared to the first half? That is the answer. That is the answer, I'm afraid. And if you don't like that answer, then I'm sorry, but that doesn't make it any less true. I apologize if that fact hurts your feelings, but it doesn't make it any less correct. I'm sorry to say. That's not the same as saying that he's a bad footballer. That's not the same as saying you can't like him. That's not the same as saying that you like what he offers aside at all. But if you're asking me the question of why is this happening, this is why it is happening. And if you don't like the answer, then there's nothing I can do about that, because I'm afraid that is the answer, unfortunately. And I'd love it to just be an isolated incident, but it isn't. But it isn't, unfortunately. Unfortunately. So whenever anyone poses the question, why is this happening in the second half? That is why, I'm afraid. That is why. It is what it is. It is what it is. I have an exam tomorrow instead of studying watching a head loss after a Leeds game. Yeah, indeed. Maybe we're changing how we play. Getting dual winners in Jan. I mean, like, maybe... I wanted to move on from this topic, but if we are going to change how we play, oh my word, what an underwhelming player to change your entire philosophy and structure for. Very odd. If he keeps persisting, Spartacus, you can, because I'm just bored with engaging with children. Shut up, Woody Dax. What did O'Reilly do? Wait, what? Have I missed something? Sorry. Phone on the right, why is Pep wasting him there as well? He did that. That did happen after the change. Yes, you're not wrong. Roadman Nobbins, chill. Please do analysis. If we sign him, I will. Yes. It was terrible for that second, for the penalty. Sorry. Yes. Excuse me. Yeah, I will. If we sign him, I will do an analysis. Absolutely. We need more creators and good finishers. I mean, we scored 3 goals today. I don't think that was the problem, really. Ainori needs a run. The problem with him is that I mean, Pep took him off at half time against Leverkusen. So, like, it's not looking good. I mean, O'Reilly's playing so fantastically well as well, generally speaking. So, you know what I mean? Oh, Mad Hattie missed everything. Not animosity in the chat, me revealing my feelings. I felt it's frustrating because I felt Reinders actually had a good first half, but then as I've just outlined, the entire second half was a shit show. I actually felt he had a good game in that first half. That was annoying. What do you think about Semenyo rumors to City? Yeah. I like Semenyo a lot, but I need someone to move out before I move someone in personally. Why is Marmish getting the Chiesa treatment? I don't know. Leeds almost won. Indeed, very upsetting. Very upsetting. Yes, Noah, well done for the appeal to authority fallacy. Well done, Noah. You're very smart and intelligent. I also participate in society. You won't be satisfied. Right, yes. So, what else to talk about? Well, I think I basically got to the crux of the matter. Um, Someone said Haaland's form, but I don't know if like Haaland was like a problem today or anything. Like he was like properly marked out of the game by a number of Leeds players, and what I would say is that if we know that Haaland is getting massively marked out of the game, then that means that there's space for everyone else, i.e. Foden. Flowers for Foden. Yeah, well, maybe I'll end on that just so I can like be happy. But I feel like I want to stick with the Leeds game for now. I want to see his 100th goal as well, Ash. I know. I'm just having a look at the lineup. Spoken about Donnarumma. Spoken about Nunes. The Nunes one's a shame because like it's ridiculous. It's like ridiculous. It's a dumb error, and Nunes does this thing where it's a pattern. It's a pattern where he will be like good to great for like 5 games in a row, and then he'll just drop a disastrous error. Was his last big error, I mean like, you know, leading to a fantastic goal scoring opportunity or a goal, was his last big error against Brighton. Is that correct? Where he gave away the penalty. Is that correct, or am I missing something? Am I missing something? Because it does feel like he hasn't made an error in a minute. And it tricks you. It tricks you into thinking, oh, don't worry, Hoodie, we'll do it. It tricks you into thinking, oh, maybe, actually, is he actually a fantastic right back and we don't need to even worry about that, whatever. But then he does that. And it's so annoying because I can't properly invest into him because I know that it's like just around the corner. I know it's just around the corner. And he does something like this where, first of all, he gives it away in the build-up, being like, okay, well, it's okay. Gvardiol dealt with it. Just clear it away. Oh, no, I'm just going to do a horrendous touch and Calvert-Lewin. Boop. Easy. Maybe I should talk about, if I'm going through each individual player, rather than talking about a general structure. Before we touch on each individual player in the Fanalysis player ratings, are there any other topics we want to touch on, Ari, like overall structure or whatever? Let me know. Let me know. It's a good point, Spartacus. It is a good point. We can't forget the good goal. Can't forget the good goal. But is there anything else structurally we want to talk about? There was one thing I did want to talk about, actually. Now, unfortunately, I didn't see this in the second half because what Leeds did at goal kicks was they just hoofed it. But in that first half, let me know if anyone else spotted this. When Leeds were trying to build out from the back with their goal kicks, Reinders was basically playing as like a left winger at times. You had Doku tucking in more centrally. You had Bernardo centrally. And you had Haaland almost as like right wing. Which was really odd. That was only like the absolute Leeds building out from the back. Like, of course, like when it got more settled, that didn't happen. Did anyone else spot that? I thought that was weird. I don't really get what I'll have to think about, like, why would you do that? Thank you, Hoshim. Savio didn't even play today and he's getting strays. What is happening? Let me know if anyone else saw that. But I thought that was really weird. I thought that was, and it was definitely an instruction. Like, it was definitely Reinders left wing, and it was definitely Bernardo central, and it was definitely Haaland at like right wing. It was odd. It was odd. I don't even know if it worked or not. And I only saw it a couple of times, but whenever I saw it, I was like, oh, that's weird, isn't it? That's weird. I think, Hoodie Dax, that they are expanding it because it's a new app, so they're still lining out the bugs. But I think their aim is for like next year, or early next year, they're going to try to expand it to more people. So yeah, I think right now it's invite only, but then they'll do it to everyone, hopefully. I think that's the idea. Random movie quote for Hoshim. Thank you for supporting the channel. Come on, Tom. Let's finish this the way we started. Together. That is from Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. Gosh, what a disappointment that franchise turned into. It was so good. so good. The first two films, like borderline perfect. They captured the magical whimsy of the books, and then they just missed so much out. And I guess they had to because the books are so big. But Deathly Hallows Part 1. Oh my god. Let's walk around the woods of Britain for 90 minutes, shall we, chat? Good god. So yes, that was like a little thing on the outer possession. Anything else that I want to talk about structurally? Is there anything else you want to talk about structurally? Sorry, I missed that. Do let me know. Do let me know if there's anything like structurally before we touch on like individual performances, because I'll get into that with the ratings of the players. Do let me know. Do let me know. Do let me know. Do let me know. Thank you so much, Hoshim. It says new member, but I'm pretty sure you already were a member, so thank you so... It says, yeah, Ultras Club milestone, there you go. Oh, your sick profile picture. It's the lad who saved the day. Excellent work, Hoshim. And you'll have a random player. And it is Colaccini. Does anyone remember him? He was alright. We've already had a massive chat about the build-up, Mad Hatter, and that's where I let everything come out. So if you want my thoughts on that, I'd recommend watching that. Being less direct. I suppose we were less direct. But I don't know if I dislike that. You're the love of my life. Big up to Hoshim. If you don't want to become a channel member, you can do that. 5 defenders. You mean like towards the end? How do you think Rodri coming back will help? Well, I mean, first of all, it does depend on what Rodri does come back, because I think Nico's been doing a very good job. But of course, if Rodri comes back to even like close to his levels, then we do know that we are going to improve in every single phase. We're going to be better going forwards because he's a goal threat. We are going to be better building up from the back because he's Rodri. We are going to be better at just sustaining possession, I suppose. I just don't like it, Noah, when people question my integrity. That's all. I think that's a valid thing to get annoyed about. And that's what it is at the end of the day. You want more Kusanov, Dom? What do you think about the more wide position Doherty, unlike a typical central role we've been seeing this season? So in the first half, he was playing quite... In fact, there were moments in the first half where he even moved to right of centre and Foden rotated with him. It mainly happened when that switch happened, didn't it, with Pep, and then he did just go out and out. But there was still cause for rotation with O'Reilly. I do think that who was there? It was Bogle, wasn't it? And I think it was it was Dan James who was tracking as well. I think I touched on this at the start of the stream. We had like a back six at times, so that did help as well. No one has been slandering Donnarumma or Diaz, so I don't know who that's in reference to. It's certainly not me. I don't know. It's hard, isn't it? Because, like, he's got to come back and, like, it sounds like mad, of course, but if he comes back and he's finished, I'm not saying he is going to be that, obviously, but he does almost. Does he have to prove himself? Oh, I don't know. You can't sign a player who's a dud if that makes sense. You can't re-sign a player who is going to be forever injured. So I think there does have to be a bit of a two-way relationship here. I've never said that Donnarumma's bad. Yeah, absolutely, yes. I do agree. I'll repeat that it's not his fault. It's not his game. You get me? Last season's implanted into the brains of all our players. There's definitely still a mentality concern, I think, as well. The first bit of adversity and they just shit the bed. That's not good enough. concerned about Gvardiol's form. It's annoying because apart from his mental error, I actually felt Joshko had a good game today. Like that switch he hit for the first goal was really good. And of course he scored the goal, which was nice. And it was just, and we know that he's our only actual aerial threat from corners also. It's just a shame about the mental error that he made. I don't know what he's doing. There's just panic sets in too quickly for some of these players. Last 3 games, Bayern, Leeds, Newcastle have been defensively poor, making avoidable mistakes. Reinders was decent, says Yuzan. Yeah, better first half than second, definitely. Yeah, exactly, Kurt. Definitely. How did PSG make up for Don's distribution? Well, they sort of did. I outlined it in my analysis video. I don't want to talk about Donnarumma. But, like, one of the ways that they sort of half coped with it was Vitinha would hold his hand in build-up, but also you've got Nuno Mendes, and you've got Hakimi, and you've got João Neves, and you've got Ruiz, who are like cheat codes in respect of technicality and just control and build-up. If they have to go long, then they do still have those midfielders who can win second balls and lose balls. But I would actually contend that because they didn't have to make up for anything in Liga because they're going to win Liga. So really the question is, how do they cope in the Champions League? And they did do all those things I've just mentioned then. But I think another thing to consider, this is something that Alex, aka Euro Expert, and myself were discussing in context of the signing at the time, was that in those big Champions League games where they were up, so not Inter, because Inter were just properly shit, weren't they? They battered them. But in those tighter games, so Villa and Arsenal, and Arsenal's the main example, but there was also Villa and Liverpool to another degree. They weren't really able to cope with it, to be honest with you. They scored goals, and it was basically their attackers, and of course, like the shot stopping in those moments was what saved them. They weren't really able to cope with it, like against Arsenal. The amount of times they gave up possession, they were hanging on. It was because of like fantastic clinical finishing and then fantastic shot stopping, which ultimately won them the day. They weren't actually able to solve the build-up problem against those sides. They just relied on being great at shot stopping and being great at scoring goals. So, yeah. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Big up to Sebastian. How you doing, mate? Thank you so much for supporting the channel, as always. Oh, sorry, one sec. Things fallen. 12 a year. Big W's for Sebastian supporting the channel for a year. There have been times this season where I've thought I finally got where Pep wanted Donna, but then he'll drop stinkers so often. And your random footballer, Sebastian, is Pookie. We were talking about Pookie earlier. I think it was Jack who said it. So big up to him. Big up Farker. So yeah, I think that we've covered everything that I probably wanted to cover structurally. Yeah, Pookie mentioned crazy, yeah. So I want to now go to the individual... yeah, the cutout's still alive. I can get the cutout if you want. I can go grab it if you want. He's over here. He's over here. Don't worry. Oh. I'm not going to fight the cutout, guys. I like Donnarumma. I love... Shall I tell you what I love most about Donnarumma? The fact that he clearly loves the club. And the fact that he clearly loves that he's here. Like, genuinely, I like fell in love with that immediately, like before a ball was even kicked in the Manchester derby, because he was running to the crowd and like doing like this. You know what I mean? So he was like locked in. He clearly is a very passionate guy. So I'm a big fan of like Donnarumma as like a person and all that stuff. I'm just not a fan of how his play style in conjunction with ours. But those are two very separate things. I actually do like him as a player. I definitely do like him as a player. But yeah. And of course I like him as a person as well. He's a boy. He's the boy. Okay. Let's get into the player ratings. shall we? Analysis player ratings, guys. Feel free to download the app. Separate the art from the artist, yeah. And we will, and then we'll like, because we like to make these 90 minutes, so I won't be live for another 30 minutes. So after these, we'll have like a final thoughts on the game. Is there anything that you want to, else that you want to discuss? Yeah, do make sure that we are liking the video, by the way. Do make sure that we are liking the video as well. Okay, so I'm going to repeat what the rating system is, because FootMob and SofaScore and all these other platforms are wrong. By virtue of maths, a 5 is average. Not a 6, excuse me, not a 6. A 5 is average. Those rating sites are wrong, objectively, by virtue of maths. So I want you to use decimals as well. You can either do it 0 to 100, or use decimals, because Fanalysis does it out of 100. So do whichever one you want. So you can say 87, or you can say 8.7. I don't really care which one you do. I'll be able to interpret it fine, as long as you like give me at least one decimal place. Well, no, just maximum one decimal place, in fact. So remember, 5 is average, 6 is above average, 7 is good, 8 is great, 9 is brilliant, 10 is perfect. Going the other way, 5 is average, 4 is below average, 3 is bad, 2 is like really bad, 1 is, and then like anything below that is like detrimental to the side. Like you were, like we're talking like Kyle Walker in 24-25. Like not only were you on the pitch and not contributing anything, you were just a net negative and actually detrimental to the side, and you're arguably the reason like why we lost. So there we go. I could do that off. That's a good idea, actually. That's a good idea. 0 will leave the club. Yeah, not only were you shit and cost us the game, you've wasted my time. Yeah? You've wasted my time watching that shit. Okay? So, we are going to... We're going to start from the back. Okay, so. As always, goalkeeper, Donnarumma. There were some build-up issues. Got a yellow card. I can't even remember why he got a yellow card. Why did he get a yellow? He saved a penalty, but irrelevant because it went straight back to a Leeds player, so that's not really saving the penalty, to be honest with you. He didn't have much to do. It was bad for that one corner. Descent, was it? Thank you. Seven aura. What? This is going to make it seem like I've got like an agenda or anything, but like, what did he do well today? This is a genuine question. I can be convinced of. This isn't rhetorical. What were the positive things that he did today? That's a serious question. Asking for serious answers. What was it that he did? Because he didn't fix an injury. Because he didn't make any. Did he make any good save? 2 good saves. Did he? Am I being stupid? It says here that he made 1 save, and I'm assuming that's the penalty, which went straight to a Leeds player. So he didn't make any saves. What's the great save? Am I forgetting? It says here on FootMob he made 1 save, and that's the penalty. Which went straight to a Leeds player. So I don't even think I can say that. The distribution was bad, as we've discussed. He was bad coming out from that 1 corner. You guys are saying that he did okay in the last minutes. I mean, this isn't a good game, is it? It's not a bad game. It's not. This isn't a good game. Save the pen nicely. But there's no point saving the pen if it goes straight to another player. That's not really. That's not really doing anything, is it? I'm gonna say he had like an average game. Yeah, he didn't really. Yeah, I'm gonna say that he was average. I'm gonna give him 50. I don't really know what he did well in the game. There weren't any especially great saves. There was a bad moment from the corner. Yeah, I'm gonna say 5. He would have gotten a far higher ranking if the penalty didn't just go straight to another player. But I think that's reasonable. Oh, I tell you what, I'll give him 5 points for going down for the team talk, you know. No, sorry, I'll give him 4 points for going down for the team talk, in fairness. So I'll give him 54. I'll give him 54 for that. But I think it was an average game from him, to be honest with you. I don't think it was an above average game from Donnarumma. I think that's reasonable. I think that's fair. Ruben Diaz. Ruben Diaz. I mean, he didn't make an error for a goal, so that was nice. What do you guys reckon, though? I can't recall him doing anything necessarily wrong. He apparently won 3 out of 5 aerial duels, which is nice. Good switches. Consistent. 4, 45, 6, 65, 6, 70, 6.9, 60, 60, 6.2, 5, 4, 5.5, 55, 7, 6, 5 for the entire back line, says Gonzalo. Spartacus says the switches were great. There was a nice switch to Doku, I do remember that. This is on Finalysis, Snow Glow Mobile. Did well aerially against Calvert-Lewin. Won good aerial duels, made no mistakes. And that is important against Leeds. I'm going to say that he therefore... I'm going to give him something in the 60s then. Low 60s, though. I'm going to say... I'm probably going to go 60. I'm going to go low 60s. I think that's fine. I don't think he was at fault for either goal. No, a bit higher. I'm going to say 64. I'm going to say 64 on that. Yeah, the passing wasn't bad today. Right, Gvardiol. This is going to be an interesting one. Because he gave away the penalty. Dumb idiot. And then got like a yellow card. But he also scored a goal. And he hit a switch for the first goal. So, of course, we do have to hold the error against him, giving away the penalty. But he did a lot of good. He did do a lot of good, though, didn't he? So it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one. So it's going to be higher than Diaz for me based on that. Because if you want to say that his goal is chalked off by the penalty he gave away, I will accept that. But then I'm going to say, okay, but then he hit this amazing switch for the first goal. And I thought that, generally, I can't really remember him being bad. He's vital. I mean, we know we are struggling with build-up, but he's absolutely vital to try to make it work at all. I'm going to give him a higher rating than Diaz based on that. I gave Diaz a 64. So I'm not... I don't think I'm going to put it into good, though, because I don't feel comfortable saying a player had a good game if they give away a penalty that nearly made us lose the game. So I don't feel comfortable saying he had a good game because of that fact. I'm going to go 68, though. I'm going to go 68. I think that's reasonable. So nearly getting into the good. And that he would have had an extra 10 points minimum if he didn't make the error for the goal. But it's the fact that the goal mattered at the time as well. Like it wasn't like we were winning 5-0 and he did a silly error. It was 2-1 and he did a silly error. But I can't ignore the goods that he did. Like, it's similar. I'm not going to 69. And it's likewise with Nunes. Mentally bad, like properly bad, properly inexcusable stuff for the first goal. Like, I don't know what he's doing. He gives it away like an idiot. He then gives it away again like an idiot. But he created the first goal, and it was really good attacking play from him, and he had a really solid first half. So I think I've sort of got to view him like Gvardiol. What are you guys saying? Yeah, for me, Matata, he does have to be as close. But what do you guys reckon, though? What are you guys saying for Nunes? What are you saying? Let me know. Let me know in the chat. Yes, let me know in the chat. Beyond Ultra with another 7. Right, wingness. If you want my opinion, I think we should go back to the good old 4-4-2. Says Mobile. A 4? Goodness me. 65-6. I think I'm going to give him a lower rating than Gvardiol. Yeah. I'm going to give him a lower rating than Gvardiol. Only slightly lower, though. Because Gvardiol's got that switch going for him. And I do think that Nunes' error was worse. Like, the Gvardiol one is dumb, but I mean, the Nunes one is doubly dumb. And he does 2. So I'm going to give him a lower rating than Nunes. I'm going to say 66. 66. Because he still did get the assist. He still did... No. Yeah. He still did get an assist for us. And it was only the first goal. Wait, what's that? Nunes fundamental for third goal as well. His run into the area creates a space for Shirky to find Foden. Okay, you may have tempted me there. You know what? I think you've charmed me. You've charmed me. I'll give him the same as Gvardiol, 68. I think that's reasonable then. Okay, O'Reilly. Aerial threat from the corner. Good. We know we need more of those. He's already scored a corner goal. Directly. So, helped force the corner goal. Can't remember. He didn't make an error. Unlike Nunes and Yoshko. Technically got the assist also. O'Reilly will always have points docked until he gets rid of that trip. Let's see if there's any like other interesting bits of data. What was the header that he had in the... Wait, when was the second goal scored? Oh, that was 25th. What was the shot he had in the 45th minute? I can't remember that. It was from a corner, obviously. I can't remember that, though. It says shot type, other body parts. From a corner, saved. 0.38 XG, so that's a good chance. I can't remember that chance. I'll have to rewatch that. Can you guys remember? Can you guys help me? Hit the shoulder. Ah, okay. Okay, got it. Understood. That's fairs. That is fairs. Oh, the short corner. Question mark. Where Ryan just took it short and played it to Doku. I'll have to rewatch that. I actually can't remember that. I think it should have been close to the winger and built to the pen. You give him a 6. Hit with a shoulder, 6.5. A loopy shoulder shot. Yeah, thank you guys. Yeah, I'm thinking something in the 6 again for O'Reilly. Because he did get a goal contribution, of course. Even though it wasn't as deliberate. I'm gonna say 64 for O'Reilly. I think that's reasonable. I think that's fine. There were a number of times I think where James gave him a little bit of a concern as well, and he wasn't that good under pressure in that second half either. Reinders, now, don't tell me to put Little Don down, okay? This isn't Big Don, this is Little Don. Clearly, like, look at him. Look at him. He's little, he's my child. This is Little Don. He's my boy. Tijani Reinders had a mixed bag of a game. I thought he was good in that first half, you know? I actually thought they played really well. Really, okay, maybe really isn't the right word. I thought he played well in that first half. I thought he was very unfortunate to not have a goal. Because there were a number of good blocks. Second half, he did go missing, as did a lot of our players. This is why it's such a hard ratings thing. This is why it's such a hard ratings to judge. Because there were a number of good performances in the first half, and there was just a massive drop-off. So this is a really weird one to assess. What do you guys reckon? I'm happy to be swayed a lot here on the chat because I don't know myself for this one. I don't have a strong opinion either way. Let me know what you think. Let's see if I can gather any data. He made a tackle. That's very unlike Reinders. To be fair, he's not normally a tackler, so that's good. He actually won most of his ground duels, which is surprising. I wonder how many of those were defensive. It's a tricky one. Yeah, he had so many shots in that first half. Yeah, the one which went just wide. And he had like a couple that were blocked as well. So it's a shame. Which big chances he creates? I do not know. I do not know. Oh, well, would it have been because it was from his corner that the goal was scored? So I'm guessing he must have created the initial O'Reilly one, I guess. Yeah, it must have been the corner, mustn't it, Matthias? Yeah, Matthias, sorry. Yeah, that had to have been it. So what are we saying for Reinders? I need more numbers, guys. I need more numbers. What are we saying? What we're saying? 61, 5, 65, 58, 6, 62, 49, 63, 42, 50, 63, 55, 65, 68. Yeah, don't spam. 61, 60. What's this? I watched us lose 2 games. I missed the first half of this game, but since I turned it on, Leeds scored. Should I just stop watching? I'm bad luck. Yeah, well, you're gonna have to give up. You're gonna have to do it for the team. You know what I mean? You're gonna have to do it for the team. My instinct is low 60s. My instinct is low 60s because there was a good first half, but then there was like an second half. So I'm gonna give him a 62. You know, because I do. You know, I'm a fan of Reinders, but I need more. I do need more. Right. Nico Gonzalez. Doing the Lord's work, filling in for Rodri, the impossible task. Thought that he was like solid today. I can't recall him making that many errors. I don't know if it borders into good, but I thought that it was fine. There were some good moments where he was able to get us out from the back, which was nice. So I do think I'm going to err into above average, so it's probably going to start with a 6 for me. He's on his own, still was too far at the pitch. That is annoying me. That is annoying me a little bit. That is annoying me. 72, 70, 68, 70, 75, 68, 69, 78, 70, 65. He was fine. Nico had a lovely ball control moment, which sadly ended with him getting fouled. Yeah, so and in those moments where we did need someone to help try to steady the ship, he was doing that. So I think I am probably going to give him a high 6 based on that. Didn't make any errors that I can recall. Oh yeah, he did have a really good shot blocked as well, didn't he? That was annoying. I have no idea how we only scored 2 goals in that first half, man. That was insane. Uh, that's a high volume of defensive actions from him. 8 recoveries, a headed clearance, 4 clearances, and a tackle. That's a lot of defensive work that man's had to do today. So yeah, I'm going to give him his high 9. I'm going to go 69. Ha 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 ha. There you go, Spartacus. You won. Are you happy now, you little bastards? Yeah? Okay. Bernardo Silva. I wasn't that happy with Bernardo's game. I'm not saying that he was bad by any means, but it wasn't like the... In my opinion, it wasn't the level that I've seen for the past few games. Because I think I've been giving him like 70s. And I think even like an 80 recently. So this is going to be more of a 6 for me. Probably. Oh, no, wait. He played that nice ball into Nunes, didn't he? Yeah, exactly, Spartacus. I'm not going to say he played... I'm not going to say he had a good game, though. I still don't think that's a good game. I still think it's an above-average game, so I'm not going to go into the 7s, and that's where I've been mainly ranking Bernardo recently, I feel like. So unfortunately, he's going to miss out on a 70. It's going to be 60-something. Let's have a look, see. Anything interesting? He did play that nice ball. He apparently had a shot, which I can't even remember. That was probably in that pinball moment. Goodness me. He won 0 grounds duels, which is not like Bernardo. Not like him at all. It wasn't like bad by any means. I'm going to say... And also, he did help facilitate Foden centrally, in fairness, because, like, before the change, he was starting the build-up process, and then he did move over to more so the right, and that allowed Foden to go even more centrally. So it is going to be 60-something, but I don't feel comfortable making it higher than Nico Gonzalez or the same as him. So it's going to be higher than Reinders, I think. I'm going to say 65. I'm happy with 65. That's good. That's in the middle of above average to good, and I think that's reasonable. Mid-60s is about right. Okay. Jeremy Doku. What we saying? What we're saying to Jezza was often a key outlet when we needed it in that second half. Oh, there was this one moment where the pass was just slightly overhit to Foden. Like, Foden's making the box crashing run. It would have been such a glorious move had he done that. Some nice dribbles, of course. Get City up the pitch. We'd love to see that. I thought that he supported O'Reilly defensively well also. Of course, didn't get a direct contribution. Yeah, I like that as well, Marcus, to be honest. I liked that as well. He completed the most dribbles in the match. Isn't that a surprise? Yeah, so he did create a lot of threat. I did feel like he was good defensively. Anything else that I can glean from that? Not necessarily. No, I liked what he was doing. I'm gonna say. Wait, I haven't even looked at what you guys have said yet. 67 for the memes. Shut up, Graham. 64, 73, 61, 76, 100. Okay. 74, 60. That's not a number. 70, 99, 70, 78, and it's definitely not going to be an 80. I think only one player is getting something like that, and it ain't Jeremy, unfortunately. 70, largely used the second half just being double marked. But if he's being double marked, that means that someone else is in space. Doku was a 7.3, good, but wasn't really beating his man when needed. I don't know if I'm comfortable saying that he had an out-and-out good game. I think it's on the cusp. I think he's edging. You know what I mean? Like, going back to that tier list for a second, I think he's edging. I might do another cheeky 69. That's a sentence that you'd never thought you'd hear on on a football stream. I think he's edging. I'm going to do another cheeky 69. Who'd have thunk it? Not me, that's who. Even though I said it, which is crazy. I think 69 is pretty chill for Jezza. 72 for Louise. Yeah, so a low 70 or a high 6 is what most people are doing, which I think is about right. I think that's about right. Okay. Yeah. If you are a member of the channel, I want you to get these emotes in the chat right now, yeah? Because this lad has literally saved us from disgusting embarrassment today. Absolutely disgusting embarrassment this lad has saved us from. Goodness me. He shouldn't have had to have done that. He shouldn't have had to have done that today, and yet he has. And yet he has. Everyone was like shitting on him for that horrible miss against Newcastle, rightly criticised. People going too far the other way as they always do. That first finish, I didn't actually realise how impressive that finish was when I first watched it. But then I saw the replay. I was like, oh my god. Like the speed and the height that's coming at him with. How has he controlled that? Because it comes off the crossbar, doesn't it? So when I first saw it, I was like, oh my god, he's only just got there and goes me nearly bottled that finish. And then I watch it, and it's like, hello? Hello? That's such a good finish. Amazing. He played a lovely ball in behind for Nunes as well, which it was like a carbon copy of the first goal, but then Nunes wasn't able to get the cross away, which is a shame. He played a different position off ball today, so he played more right wing rather than centrally, so he had less defensive work to do. But what he did it very well. He was always supporting Nunes defensively, which was really, really important. Can't really remember him giving away like the ball in like dangerous or silly areas. It would have been nice. It would have been nice for him to have been used more in our deep build-up when we were having those worries, but the instruction was to keep him further up the pitch. And big up to Graham. Thank you, mate. Then who is confirmed as an Arsenal fan? Yeah. Welcome to the Ultras Club, matey. Welcome to the Ultras Club. You're a random footballer. That's quite funny. I think it's the second time we got this player. Just funny given the context of the conversation we were having earlier. It's Edison. So a random footballer in his Benfica kit. It's very funny. Yeah, big up to Graham for that. Graham, get your Foden emotes in the chat. Yeah, so he had less defensive work to do because that wasn't his instruction. Anything else? So he was obviously less involved in the overall play. There was one really good corner that he put in, I think, for Yoshko, and he just like bottled it, which was unfortunate as well. I'm just seeing anything else. It says he missed a big chance here, but was that the one that was like massively closed down? Yeah, he could have actually had a brace in that first half, but for that fantastic block. Yeah. This is going to be a high grade, to be honest with you. I'm just thinking now, how high do I go? It's at least 85. This is the range that I'm working in. It's like at least 85. I don't know if I'm going to put it into the 9s. In fact, no, I'm not going to put it into the 9s. I don't feel comfortable doing that. Even though he did literally wins the game and it's a brace and he executed his role like perfectly, so I don't know why I wouldn't do that in fairness. Maybe it's because I'm biased and I prefer him in the deeper areas, but he literally did like everything that's expected of him, and he scored 2 goals that were very hard finishes, and he literally won us the game. So no, I've lied. I am going to give him something beginning with a 9. I'm going to give him 90. There you go. I've done it. I've committed. I don't care. I don't care. I've done it. I've done it. I thought about it more. I thought about what role he was doing, what he was being asked to do, and he executed it perfectly. I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know how else it can't be a 90. in all honesty, the more I'm thinking about it. What else could he have done? He wasn't tasked with deep build-up. He was tasked with being more of an offensive threat, and he fulfilled that brief perfectly well. 90. Right, Big Erling. Hard one. Hard one to rank, this one. Because he was very absent for most of the game. Well, for both halves, essentially. The question becomes, how much of that was his fault? And then the follow-up question becomes, was the reason why he was so quiet, was that because the Leeds players are all over him? Answer yes. In which case, is that in itself fulfilling a role? That's the question. That's not going to bump up the grade like that much, but it's definitely worth noting because, as Indigo Moons just said there, their defense were glued to Haaland, which is important, I think. I think that's important to note. Defensive contribution saved him, plus he was being four-manned. So it's obviously not going to be a high grade, but it's not going to be like a really low grade also. Like, it's not going to be like the... yeah. Because that's what I'm thinking, Fenway. His occupying good defenders gave Foden the space. Because you can't deny that sometimes there were 3 of them on him or 4 of them on him. And that is a positive in its own right. It's not... He was also... I mean, as always, he's good defending. Good defending. What's it? I'll need to look back at this, but yeah, like in the 88th minute, he had a header. I'm sure like that whole exchange was really weird. Really weird, where I have no idea how we didn't get it in the back of the net. I think that's the moment I'm thinking of. Just seeing if there's any interesting stats. 5 defensive contributions. It's so funny for my striker. That's so funny. 3 clearances, 3 of which were header clearances, obviously. Did a block and a tackle also. There was one nice bit of hold-up play. So I'm gonna probably give him... I'm probably gonna give him like a high 5 or a low 6. Based on that. Because I don't know how much of that is his fault. I don't know what more he can do if there are 4 players around him. Do you see what I mean? I don't know. So it's a tricky one to judge. I might just do a nice and clean, rounded up to a 60. Might just do a nice and clean one of those, perhaps. See, I disagree, Ian. There were positives. The defensive contributions and holding up players is a positive. That's what's saving him from being like in like the low 5s or something. Because I am taking that into consideration. Hence, he's ending with a 6. I think that's reasonable, and I think that's fine. I think that's fair. I don't think that's unfair from me personally. I don't tend to rate the subs, and I'm not going to do today. Shout out to Shirky for getting the assist. Of course, it's all about the goal, but shout out to Shirky for doing that. Absolutely, love to see that Shirky Foden connection. And then finally, Pep Guardiola. He said that in hindsight he made an error with the lineup against Leverkusen. He amended it. He remedied it today. He started a far stronger side. He instructed Donnarumma to go down to have a tactical breather. He obviously brought on Shirky, who got the assist for the win. One could argue that maybe he could have changed it earlier. I don't have any qualms with the lineup. I didn't like the utilization of Foden a lot, but ultimately he did win us the game, so maybe I shouldn't complain. He didn't do anything necessarily particularly impressive. He was sorry for the Leverkusen one, yes indeed. Form looked good, says LB, no indeed. 60, 70, 55, 50, 80 was not at fault. Sorry, no, this isn't Shirky, sorry, this is Guardiola. 60. 10 for making the Don loss aura. What? 67. Yeah, I don't think that I think he got the lineup right. I think that he when was Shirky brought on? Brought on Shirky in the 75th minute, so like a few minutes after we conceded the second, so that's the correct reaction. Could he have done anything else? Maybe he could have brought on Kusanov to steady the ship. Outside of that, there's not many other players you'd say, yeah, he should definitely have brought him on. He brought Stones to see out the game. He did see out the game, sorry. Brought on Marmouche when we needed a goal. I don't. I'm just gonna give him. I'm gonna give him. Everyone gets a 69 today. You know what I mean? He can have one as well. Why not? I'm feeling generous today. And there we go. That is my analysis submitted. Sorted. Interesting. So this is fascinating. So what's also good about this app is, wait, is this from today's game, or is this overall? I think this is from today's game. So you can see the averages of what everyone else has done. So for example, Donnarumma's averaged out to a 59. So I think our rating was about right. They've been very harsh with Gvardio. They've given him 54 on an average. Foden only a 78 is very surprising. Wait, that's the average from today, really? Well, that must have mean that. Oh no, no, I think that is across the whole season. No, that's got to be across the whole season. That can't be right, can it? I don't know. I had to have a proper look. Now that's got to be across the whole season. There's no way that's from today's game. There's no way averaged out to that just for this game. Surely that's not a thing. I mean, it could well be a thing. Very surprised if it were, though. Very surprised if it were. Right. There you go, little Don. Thank you for joining. Okay. Thank you for helping me out with my ratings. Is there anything else that we would like to discuss? Anything else that we would like to discuss? I feel like I feel so much better now I've got that. And now I've got that off my chest, the discussion point from earlier, because I've been struggling with this basically since the start of the season. So I'm very happy that I've now voiced that properly. So thank you for listening to that. If people don't like it, then that's sad. You know, that's a thing, but hey, it's a thing. But anything else that we do want to chat about today? Henderson links. Wait, what? Hello? We did a watch-along, Graham. Yes, we did. Yes. Damn it, Fenway. Damn you, you little swine. Maybe this is where we end. Unless there's another topic we want to talk about. I do want to go have tea, though. Unfortunately, I'm going to be quite negative here. I don't think that this is that sort of win. And I don't know why I think that. I wonder if it's because I'm getting a different vibe with this team and its overall quality. But because you are correct, like in the past, City would play a game and in a title race, whatever, and they don't play well, but they still get the job done. And you can chalk that off to, oh, it's one of those games, and that's what champions do. That's what the best teams do. They win ugly. And it doesn't matter, because you get that last-ditch win, and it's lovely. this didn't. I don't know what it is. This did not feel like that today. This did feel more like almost like a fluky situation, and I don't. And I'd love to think that this is a springboard where City now take this win and the performances are excellent, and we go from strength to strength. I think the reason why I don't think that is because the season hasn't really been reflective of that. It's not like we've been excellent, and then ugly win. Okay, great. This is what champions do. Now we do another one. I'm a little bit concerned that we've scammed a win today. And unfortunately, I don't... And this is why I've named the stream what it is. We have won this battle, and that's very, very lovely. I have no idea how relevant this battle will be to the overall war, though. That's all I'm... That's the way I'm viewing it. I don't want to view it like that, because I do like to be positive if I can, because, you know, why wouldn't I be? But it doesn't feel like it. It doesn't feel like it. Because of the issues I've outlined. Because of the fact it's not an isolated incident. And that's why it's all boiled and bubbled up and come out today, because it's not just an isolated incident, and it isn't being reactive, because it's nearly every single game. That's an excellent work, Fenway. Well done. And I can tell it because it's you, but also, generally speaking, those exclamation marks do help. They do help. I'm worried for Fulham, aren't we all? Aren't we all? And unfortunately, it's not even like we were able to kill the game off early today and like rest players and have a lovely time. We had to start a lot of players who we are going to be wanting to start against Fulham. And all of them have had a hard game, like nearly 100 minutes. We're going to have to go again. We're going to have to just go back to the same team, aren't we? What we should probably do is play the exact same starting 11 as against Liverpool, Bournemouth, Newcastle. We should probably do the exact same as today, but perhaps take off Reinders and put on Shirky. That's probably what we should do. I believe that Shirky makes his side better. You guys know I'm a big fan of Shirky. I don't think there's going to be that much rotation. You know what I mean? Hope you're just giving you serious money because I've been seeing serious ads. I do only have, I promise, I don't know if you guys know this. When you are setting ads as a YouTuber, you have three options. You can either set it to barely any ads, therefore barely any revenue. You can set it to balance, which is what's recommended and is the default on YouTube. Or you can set it to aggressive, where obviously there are more ads, you get more money. It's a worse experience for the viewer. I promise that I've just set it to the recommended of what YouTube do. So there is no aggressive advertising here. So I apologize if you are getting a lot of ads. But I do set it to just the middle. And I could set it to aggressive, and I could get more money, but then that's a worse experience for you guys, and I do value that. I don't value it enough to put it, like, to turn them off, because that would be mental. But, yeah. That's the thing. If you are annoyed at ads, and hey, aren't we all? And if you're able to, of course, I do have a Patreon where you can get an ad-free viewing experience. Now, it does mean that you can't watch live, but if you're more of an offline viewer, and lots of people are enjoying this, by the way, you get to watch all of my uploads, you get to watch all of my Twitch streams, and all of my YouTube streams without any adverts at all. And that also directly supports me. So if you don't want to do a YouTube membership, that's another way to support your boy, if you so desire. Kusanov is a bit of a risk, says Marcus. Yeah, I had YouTube Premium on like a free trial for like a couple months, and my word, it was I can't lie, it was life-changing. It was life-changing. I don't really watch YouTube, and I only watched it a lot because I went on holiday, so I was watching it like every day. I don't watch enough YouTube nowadays to justify it for myself, But definitely, if I like was big on watching YouTube videos, and I do watch some, but if I was like, yeah, exactly, if I was big on it, I would definitely invest into it. Because if you're watching YouTube like basically all day, like in the background, then yeah, the ads are insane, and they're definitely putting in more adverts to try to make you pay for premium. But it is exactly Fenway. If you watch a lot of YouTube, it is worth it. And also, I do get more money from YouTube Premium viewers. I don't know if anyone knew that they actually give more revenue to the channel. If anyone's interested in that as a concept, also. YouTube pushing their subscription hard, yet does not surprise me. Tottenham are crap, and yet we still bloody lost to them. Is that what it is, Olive? The bastards. Fulham won't be easy at all, mate. It's going to be very hard. Very hard. Put in the aggressive and force people to get YouTube Premium. YouTube Premium, yeah, it definitely is. Would you do a win predictor for all of the games, like all the games we should win, and we would draw compared to Arsenal's upcoming games to the end of the season? We can maybe do that on a touchline talk, yeah? We can maybe do that on a touchline talk if you think that'd be interesting. We are nearly at the stage. In fact, we might be. How many games have we played now? In fact, we may well be at the stage where we need to revisit. You know, at the start of the season where we said, okay, this is going to be the target for goals, and this is how many and these are like the goal scoring numbers that we want these players to hit. Now, it's not going to be very good because we know that Haaland's been massively scoring them all, so his numbers are going to be way out of proportion compared to everyone else. But that might be something fun to explore, because we have played around a third of the games, haven't we? Gosh, this is the winner of this Premier League, based on the current landscape of the table, is going to be a very low-scoring Premier League winner, because we've scored 27, the highest, which would mean that we would end up with 71. Which is tiny as a Premier League winner. So this has been a really low-scoring league so far, at the top of the table anyway. Goodness me. I don't think I've played Titanfall, no. You watch chess, that's so cool, Graham. You are, of course you are, Jack. Big up to you. Get your money up. I got premium, it's so worth it, says Margaret. Yeah, it does not surprise me. YouTube's my background noise. That makes sense. It's my background noise as well. I guess I probably should invest into premium, shouldn't I? Chelsea versus Arsenal prediction. Is it at the Arsenal or is it at the Chelsea? It's at the Chelsea. Arsenal 1-0, I'll say. Brentford Thiago's 2 goals behind Hall and he's underrated. Was he the one that... oh, no, he didn't score against us. He nearly scored against us, I think. Yeah, I think it's mad. But it's hard. I don't know. You can put that down to, like, difficulty of fixture, perhaps. But yeah, right now, if you times it by 3, that's really not a lot of goals at all, is it? But it's the most in the league, which is weird. Oh, Anderson links. If we sign him, I will make a video, of course. It makes total sense that we are linked with him, though. I will say that. Okay, chat. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. I certainly did. I already know that the stats from this video, that was just on foot mob, mate. I can already tell that I'm gonna have to deal with people shouting at me in the comments. Please don't shout at me, I can't be bothered. But hey ho, you know, you can only smile. What's that meme where it's like the mask, and the mask is a smile and he's like really upset behind it? Yeah, I can only do that so much. So that's the thing. Why are there so many games kicking off tomorrow at 2:05, by the way? What's that all about? Why 2:05? What's that all about? Anyway. TK, mate. I know. It's a thing. Oh, wait, before we go, big up to all of my beautiful channel members. Shout out to the people who joined today / renewed their membership. Sebastian, 12 months. Thank you so much. Hoshim Void Hunter, 2 months. Thank you so much. And Graham, who has just entered the Ultras Club. in the future, Graham, you will be on this list. I will just need to update it. You will now be included in the credits of my YouTube videos as well. So I hope you like that as a perk. You also get a little rat badge next to your name, and you get a glowy name as well. How sick's that? And you get access to emotes and sub badges. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that. Thank you so much for watching. I was going to wait for this to go, actually. And that's rude, isn't it? I didn't wait for the Hall of Fame to end. I will not see you tomorrow. I would normally do a watch-along for Chelsea Arsenal, but it's my uncle's birthday tomorrow, so we are going out for food at 3 o'clock. So obviously I can't do that. Dinner table watch-along stream, yeah? No. So the next time you'll see me will be in an upload. That'll be the post-match analysis from this game. And the next stream will be on Tuesday for Touchline Talk in the early afternoon. And then City play on Tuesday as well. Thank you, guys. I've pressed the end button, so this is going to end in a few seconds now. Goodbye.